Hi, katzcradul here. Congratulations, prepping on a budget to all your subs. And the question you're asking is, what have we learned in the last year that we've implemented that's really helped us? And what I have learned about is herbs and home remedies and natural medicines. I participated over the summer with a little Skype group of other preppers who were interested in learning more about using those things that grow around us to heal and make us well. And I was the least knowledgeable one in that group, but there were some others who really knew a lot about it and who had been practicing the art of healing themselves for a long time. And one of those people was Sabago Steve. If you don't know him, please check out his channel. He is wonderful. He is a kind, gentle teacher. He's wonderful with animals. If you're getting into raising your own animals, he's an excellent resource there. But he knows a lot about herbs, and he collects herbs in his area. And one of the things he told me about was elderberries. And I didn't think elderberries grew in my area just because I was unconscious and had not looked for them and had not learned to recognize them. But when he taught me about them and how wonderful they were, I thought, I have got to find these. And as I looked around in the spring, I saw that there were elderberries everywhere. I just hadn't been aware of it. I learned to identify them, and they have a beautiful big white flower head blossom, lots of little bitty blossoms on this big head, and I learned to be able to find them very quickly. I was wondering if I was still going to be able to identify them in the fall once the white blossoms were gone and the berries had turned to the dark purple or black, but I carefully staked out the elderberries that I wanted to harvest and watched them very carefully as they matured, and I was able to still find them after the flowers were gone and they went to berry. Here is a jar of elderberries that I dehydrated. I've also frozen some. I have made some into elixir. Everything I read said this elixir would last several weeks, pardon me, in your refrigerator, but I have had this in my refrigerator for several months. Took some this morning. It's perfect. But these berries are wonderful. They're loaded with natural antioxidants. They've been used for centuries to make jellies and pies and medicine, and I am using them strictly as a medicine this fall and to stay off. Pardon the security patrol. They saw something outside. Anyway, that's elderberries. That's the best thing I've learned about this year. It's very exciting. But I'm using other things to help heal and soothe. And I dehydrate and grind my own ginger for both medicinal purposes and cooking purposes. I save all the peel that comes from oranges and lemons because limonene is indicated in being able to stave off skin cancer, which has been a problem for me for several years. So I use a lot of lemon peel and orange peel when I bake. This was a Valentine's gift, probably the best Valentine's gift I ever got. I've been looking for aloe vera for a year and just could not find anyone selling it around me. And at Valentine's Day in my little rural area in the florist section of the grocery store, there was this little pot with a tiny aloe vera, and they were selling it for $2. And my husband brought it home to me, and I was thrilled. And now it's put on all these little ponies that I can repot, and look at this little tiny one coming up here, that I can repot and make big aloe vera plants. So that's my recommendation to you, is that you learn how to heal yourself. I don't care how much medicine, traditional medicine you have stored up. If you had to rely on that exclusively, it would run out. And you need to know how to find those things that grow around you that will heal you and help you. I recommend getting a good herb book. I recommend you download things off the internet that you think you can use. I download all kind of articles. You can see I read and highlight. When I talk to friends or hear someone say something, I write and take notes and just hole punch them and stick them in there. I just saw this page on Plantain. I'll tell you a real quick story about Prepper A. She was the next door neighbor. The little boy next door is in her class at school, and they're running buddies. And they were riding bikes this summer, and they were riding back on a gravel road, and he ran off into a ditch and had a really bad crash. and he cut his arms and legs up pretty bad. And one spot was, Prepper A thought it was kind of serious, and as this boy was laying in the ditch, she was looking around everywhere, and he said, "What are you looking at?" She said, "I'm looking for something to take care of you. Just be still." And the little brother was riding bikes with him, and she said, "You see that green plant over there?" She said, "Go pull that up and bring it to me." And the little brother was just perplexed as to why she wanted it, but he did what she said and went and got it and brought it back to her. And she dusted off a few leaves of this plantain plant, and she put it in her mouth and chewed it up and made a little poultice right there. And her friend said, "What are you going to do with that?" She said, "I'm going to put it on that bad cut right there." He said, "No, you're not. That's gross." She said, "Yes, I am. Be still." And she took that chewed up plantain out of her mouth, and she put it in that wound, and she looked for something to tie it up with, and she was wearing a bandana around her neck. She took that off and wrapped that around his arm and tied it up and said, "Now you leave that on there for a while, and when you go home tonight, you take that out and you wash it out real good, and it's going to be fine." And he said, "That's the craziest thing I ever saw." She said, "You just do what I say." And when she came home and told me this story, I was a little worried because the mother's a registered nurse, and I figured she'd probably absolutely pass out when she'd seen what Prepper A had done. But anyway, the next day at school, she said, "How's that arm?" And he rolled up his shirt sleeve. He said, "You're not going to believe it." He said, "You can hardly see the gash." He said, it closed right up, and he said it didn't hurt at all. After you put that on, it didn't hurt. So as a prepper, I'm so proud that she knew what to do, and that we've taught her that there are things around her that she can use to help when she's injured or hurt or feeling bad, and she doesn't have to run to a pharmacy, that she has things that can heal her and help right around. And that's been the best thing probably that I've learned this year, and I hope this helps somebody.